Francisco's mayor is rolling out a new plan to revitalize the city's downtown corridor. The plan involves bringing historically black colleges and universities and a satellite campus partnership to the area.
And that's why this is so critically important. Bringing historically black colleges and universities to San Francisco and opening the doors of the opportunity rather than saying, you figure it out. It's like, no, we will figure it out together. And so having institutions like the University of San Francisco, where I got my master's degree in public administration, having UCSF and San Francisco State and other local institutions saying, we have housing, we have classroom space, we're here to work with you, we're here to collaborate, because you know what? San Francisco talks about being a diverse city. But we have seen more than any other population in the city dwindle. We have seen this African-American community reduce to less than half over the past 40 years, less than half of what it was. And that is why we have to be intentional. That is why we have to invest in the Dream Keeper initiative. That is why we have to build bridges and create opportunities. The thing that we are doing here today is trying to not only create the space where we talk about the various industries, like artificial intelligence. San Francisco is the AI capital of the world. Of the 20 top companies in the world, including OpenAI, 8 are right here in San Francisco. The engineering talent is here in San Francisco. So how do we create diversity in those industries that are booming right here in San Francisco? That's what this opportunity is about, to make those connections, to make sure that the opportunity to bridge that gap is there. But the last thing I think needs to be also talked about today is how we create community for Black people. Because that is the one thing, along with the cost of living, that is the other thing that people are so desperately looking for. I visit so many companies in San Francisco, and one of the first things that many of their African American employees ask me is, where are all the Black people? How do we come together? How do we start developing those relationships? I had the mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, visit San Francisco. I put out the bat signal, and all of a sudden at a lounge downtown, it was packed, and I didn't know where most of those people came from. So part of it is, yes, these opportunities, and when we also especially bring the people, we create the community. We build those bridges. And that is what we're here to do today, to make that commitment, to develop relationships, and to truly make sure that Black people and historically Black institutions in this country are represented on the West Coast, starting with San Francisco, California. So I could go on and on, but our state controller is looking at me crazy because she's like, Mayor, you didn't even go to a HBCU, and you talking all that mess. But I went to Fisk. Yeah, she went to Fisk University. Yes, we served on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Yes, we both served as the president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. And at one time, as me as mayor and she as the president of the board, we had Black people running San Francisco. So we're doing some things in this city, and Malia Cohen has moved up to become the first African American to serve as a state controller for California. Now pretty much neck and neck with Germany to become the 4th largest economy in the world, our state. And she, when you get something in the mail with anything, Malia Cohen, state controller, her name is all over the place. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome State Controller of California, Malia Cohen.
Oh, that was nice, and I was thinking, why is she up here talking all like this? This is my friend, she knows me. In addition to counting the state's money, I was counting her minutes. Thank you. This is, I think, a fantastic example about community and about sisterhood, how we continue to uplift. Good morning, how are you feeling? Are you excited? This is incredible. incredible Dr. Cheryl Davis. Congratulations for having the vision and the foresight and the wisdom to hire the right people to help you put it all in place. Because an idea, please, yes, you're right. Give Cheryl her roses. San Francisco, moreover, I'm going to talk a little bit about the state of California, is really in a really interesting place. You heard from Mayor Breed about the economic climate for the city of San Francisco and what she's doing to continue to nurture and to bring about African American thought leaders and talent. And I want to share with you a little bit of perspective from the state. Now, Mayor Breed mentioned being the first African American controller. It only took 175 years to get here. That's a whole lot of good trouble that took place for us to get here. So I want to recognize that I am a graduate from Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up here in San Francisco. In my family, I'm the eldest of 5 girls. All 5 of us went to an HBCU. We have a nice little rivalry between Fisk and Howard in my house. And so this is the future I'm talking to. And I want you to feel welcomed. I want you to feel seen, and I want you to also feel embraced and know that there is a place for you.
How did the idea for this come about? What was the genesis for it? And have other cities done something like this?
Well, a couple of years ago, right after the pandemic, I was in Washington, D.C., and had a chance to meet the president of Spelman College. In fact, I wanted to go to Spelman so bad, but I didn't have the money to go. And the environment and going on a college tour back in high school, back in the 90s, to see so many African Americans in a college setting was something that I had never experienced in such magnitude. And part of this idea came about because we wanted to make sure that kids in San Francisco are exposed to this, especially in the high schools of our city, and to know that it's possible. So we started having a number of conversations over the past couple of years, meeting with various presidents at Howard University, Tuskegee, and really talking about the possibility of not only supporting our children and having various college groups where they would come out here and do a lot of outreach, but how do we get these campuses to think about San Francisco as a real possibility, mostly because San Francisco is the artificial intelligence capital of the world, and the fact is everything is happening around AI in our city, and how do we start to bridge that gap and make those connections with African American students, and how do we work closely with African American institutions? We've done this in terms of recruitment and reaching out to historically black colleges to recruit for our police department and other city agencies, and this is really a natural transition from some of the recruitment efforts, some of the conversations, to bring various presidents of these institutions and staff members, as well as work with our own local institutions who want to diversify their campuses, who with University of San Francisco, UCSF, and San Francisco State and other, I mean, they all raise their hand and say, we want to be a part of this, and we want to bridge this gap as it relates to African American students, and what better way to do that than working with these extraordinary historical institutions.
What do you hope this looks like long term? I mean, over the summer, there's a program where some of these other universities and schools are helping to house and share classrooms, just to have kind of like I guess it'd be like a study, not study abroad, but study across the country type program for those 28 students. But then long term, what if everything goes exactly the way you want it to be? What would this look like?
What this looks like long term is a real possibility to have historically black college campuses right here in San Francisco, where they are choosing to lease space, specifically in our downtown area, and providing a satellite location for students. Because when you think about it, we don't have any historically black colleges on the West Coast. They're all pretty much in the South and on the East Coast. And how do we start to bridge that gap? How do we bring more of that experience to San Francisco? We do so by looking at a long-term opportunity. So this is just really a chance to take advantage of programs that we already have here, Opportunities for All, where we have paid internships, to take advantage of some of the things that we're doing with the Dreamkeeper Initiative, where we're investing $60 million annually in the African American community, and working with these particular colleges to have this in essence, a bit of a pop-up situation and to provide educational opportunities for students. I think this is only the beginning, and we hope that because the interest is in something long-term, and we hope that long-term this could be something extremely valuable for our educational institutions in San Francisco. It'll be a game changer. Well, there are some HBCUs that are here today that have expressed some interest, including Tuskegee and Morris Brown, and I think that there are others who have an interest in something a little bit more long-term. So right now we're having conversations, and again, it goes back to some of our current institutions that are in San Francisco. They are very interested, and it has a lot to do with the fact that this is where, places like Stanford and Berkeley, they're putting out a lot of the engineering talent to focus on artificial intelligence, and other institutions around the country want to be in the mix of all of that, and what better place to do that than in San Francisco.
An initiative called Black to San Francisco is being led by the Human Rights Commission.
Yeah, so Black to San Francisco, folks may remember when Governor Newsom was mayor, he did work on the out-migration report, and so was really focused on how to get folks, why people were leaving, and there was supposed to be some focus about like how to get people to come back. And so Black to San Francisco is this kind of play on Back to the Future, but it also is this play on like how do we get Black people to San Francisco. We've seen the numbers really almost cut in half, and so that was one issue with that. And so Black to San Francisco is focused on that. We have been thinking about how to partner with HBCUs to get folks to come here, not just to go to school, but also once they graduate school, would they be able to get internships or other opportunities here? So that's really the crux of it, is how do we get Black people to consider San Francisco a welcoming space that they would want to live in?
And so in terms of the students who will be participating, it's HBCU students who come here for the summer internships or come here as for a semester, or will it be?
It's a mix. So part of what we've been working on and developing is like, we know for this summer that we're working with USF, we have housing. So we'll have students that come here from HBCUs this summer for a specific program. We have the ability to expand the number of students that we serve with that, because if we get HBCU students that actually live in San Francisco, they can come here and be a part of the program during the summer and live at home. So that gives us the ability to expand beyond what housing we have available. And then we are working with partners from Howard and from Tuskegee and some other places. I will say we're still working out, Tuskegee's exploring, but Howard will actually work with the law school, and that one of the professors will be here for the summer and help teach some courses. So we are building out actual programming. It may not be credentialed yet, but it'll be a place where they can come, and the economy benefits by us bringing 50 people in for the course of the summer. Like, we benefit financially as a city because they're going to eat here, they're going to shop here, they're going to be here in this space, and we benefit from their presence.
And long term, in terms of a brick and mortar space, tell me a little bit about your vision for that.
So we had a beautiful tour today with about a couple dozen people of the USF downtown campus. And I had quite a few folks who aren't ready to go public yet, but came back and said, this is the place, we want to be here. Folks are taking some tours of Wharton School of Business to get an idea of what it looks like to have a satellite here in San Francisco. So long term, what we hope, I will say, we are hoping, leveraging the work that's been done around Vacant to Vibrant and a lot of the other work that's been done to activate downtown, we're hoping that we can get somebody to commit by this summer for a brick and mortar, and that they will then have their recruitment happening there, they'll have classes happening there, that it will be activated by the end of the year. That is my aspiration, that's my aspirational goal.
So brick and mortar space for several HBCUs from around the country to have a spot, a hub in SF.
Yes, so we're working with Thurgood Marshall College Fund. We've had conversations with United Negro College Fund. They really believe a hub would be great. They think that that would put less pressure on any one HBCU, and that then we could leverage different teachers and back office support. So we're very excited about the hub idea, but there are a couple of colleges, HBCUs, that are like, no, we're ready today to build on the model that we have with UC Berkeley or other places.
So essentially, like having HBCUs build or come in and create sort of a satellite of their own university here in San Francisco.
Exactly. So we're not necessarily, there are rules around HBCUs, so we can't theoretically start a new HBCU because you have to have started in the early 60s. But we can ask them to come and set up shop here and be able to do some study abroad type work with their students, but it would be right here in San Francisco.
Involved already?
So we have placement for 28 students. We are working with a couple of different places with Howard, with Morris Brown and other folks on the recruitment. So we believe that we will get them placed that way. But United Negro College Fund has already said that if we have any challenges, that they have a database of students that we could pull from that they weren't able to place in internships, so we could work with them as well.
Okay, so that part is happening. The summer part is happening.
That is definitely happening.
Okay, and then so there's housing for them?
Yes, so we worked with University of San Francisco and secured 14 rooms, so 2 students per room, to be on site with USF this summer.
And then where will the classes take place?
So there's the ability to leverage University of San Francisco, but there also San Francisco State has already identified classroom spaces for us to use. We looked at USF downtown campus today, but we've also talked with LinkedIn, with Dolby, with Accenture, with Google and other places that have said that they would open up their doors to be able to have mentor opportunities, to have some panel discussions. So we really are trying to have them not just be in a classroom in San Francisco, but to have San Francisco itself be the classroom and for them to connect with our industry leaders.
Okay, and then funding, how does all this work?
So we have, the mayor has mentioned Dreamkeeper Initiative, but then we already have the mayor's paid internship opportunities for all. We also have a grant from the governor's office, which is supposed to focus on climate, which is supposed to focus on young people of color, folks coming from very diverse neighborhoods. So we'll be able to leverage that for the internship costs. So we already had that in the budget. That is just a matter of carving out for those particular students. And then with regards to USF, we worked with them last summer to host about 8 students. We just had to really work to leverage our existing budget. They're going to give us a really good deal in terms of that, but that we're also going to leverage funding that we already had to support that.
Who's in this room?
So in this room today, what we heard from the HBCU leaders is that they wanted to meet with industry leaders as well. So we have representatives from Tuskegee University, Howard University, Thurgood Marshall College Fund, United Negro College Fund, Charles Drew School of Medicine in Los Angeles. I'm blanking on, but so we have HBCU representatives. We have different industry leaders, so LinkedIn, Accenture, some of our agriculture partners, folks who have wineries or who are doing other work, and then we also have some of our community partners that lead that, and then our city departments that really want to partner. So San Francisco Unified School District is represented, City Attorney's Office, Department of Public Health, the Department of Environment, all these folks who are saying we want to increase our talent pool, we want to actually partner, are here to make the case for why these HBCUs should come here.
And what's happening in the Fillmore?
In the Fillmore, we are going to have lunch. Marcus Bookstores, we've been working with them. They're going to have a little pop-up. So Marcus Bookstores, which was closed down, the oldest black bookstore on this side of the country, will have their opening, kind of soft opening today. We'll have lunch there and we'll talk about the history of the Fillmore with regards to the black community in San Francisco.
Okay, and my last question, have you had a chance to kind of hear from the people in here, and if they're coming from areas where these HBCUs are, have they what kind of questions or concerns are you hearing, whether it's cost of living or anything like that? What are you hearing?
I think since they have been really focused on their current students, they've been more focused on access to our industry leaders. The idea that this is Silicon Valley, they want to make sure that their students get to connect with those folks. I will say they were concerned about housing, and so because we've been able to leverage that at least for the summer, they're excited about that. So there is great opportunity. I will say the one thing that for some of these places is the narrative of what it is to be in California or San Francisco. They don't necessarily want to be associated with some of the work around being anti-woke, or the fear that if they come to do something here, that their status may change to some degree. So we're trying to be very intentional about, like what was mentioned just a while ago in one of the sessions around rigor, academic excellence, the commitment to do that, and that we're not trying to change who they are. We want to bring who they are to San Francisco.
Is the opportunity to create moments. So now is our moment where we talk about issues and democracy and how it all aligns with here. Closing this up, I go back to the scripture that always stays with me. It's Mark 5:20. After folks were helped, after they changed what was going on, it said, remind them of what I have done. Don't leave from here the same way. Tell folks that you were in the space where you actually can transform a community. Tell them that we will not be abashed about being black. Be unapologetically black. Tell them that we're not just going to talk about black folk in February. Talk about us every single day. That is who we are. That is what we do. Go drink forward.
My dad went to Hampton. My uncle was head of ROTC. My aunts and uncles went to Hampton. My older brother. It was not a choice. My mother's joke was, you can go wherever you want. Your tuition will be at Hampton. So we went to Hampton, gratefully. So it's important, right, that we have these spaces, but as we are reimagining what STEM and STREAM can look like, what a beautiful HBCU collaborative campus in San Francisco, which is so visionary, right? The rich history that is here, that is across the bay. This is blackness at its core. What does that look like? But how do we make a space that is inclusive, that is intersectional, that is affirming, and that is modern and forward looking and leaning?
Wow. Authorship, the imagery and content being all white. What are we gaining from this? When that's the layered experience. No teachers of color, no curricular materials that are beyond white in authorship and imagery and content in any substantial and meaningful ways. Frantz Fanon had something to say about this decades and decades ago. He said that this reality has produced a white colonized mind in black, brown, and white bodies that does not serve our world's future and which leaves behind germs of rot which we must clinically detect and remove from our land and from our minds as well. And by the way, as an aside, there's no such thing as HBCU-ish. I have worked at HBCU since 1993 as a faculty member, as a department chair, as a program coordinator, as a grant PI, as an associate dean, and as a dean. Having black students does not make an institution a historically black college or university. It doesn't even make it HBCU-like. The great strength and distinguishing feature of HBCUs is black faculty, these models of intellectual authority. To have the ability to walk into a mathematics classroom being taught by a Ghanaian male, and then go down the hall or across campus into my biology classroom being taught by an African-American woman from North Carolina, and then leave and go to international affairs, and it's being taught by an a Cameroonian male, okay? The great strength of HBCUs is black faculty, and we know from numerous studies that when we compare the outcomes of black college students who attend HBCUs and black college students who attend TWIs, we know what the data say, because I have a lot of friends and parents of various and sundry young people come to me and say, well, Leslie, they're using their poetry voice. Well, Leslie, I just don't know if my son or daughter is going to get, my black son or daughter is going to be really exposed to the reality of life if they go to an HBCU. I said, are they black now? When does this being black and exposed to the reality, when does this start? I think I recall, at least for me, it was like second grade. I looked around and I said, like, something's different when I leave mom and dad. Okay? So I said, well, let's not deal with when that starts, because maybe for different people it starts at different places. I don't know. But these are what the data show us today in 2024. Let's compare the black HBCU student and the black TWI student. HBCU graduates complete college with HBCU students, complete college with higher cumulative GPAs. These graduates have higher acceptance rates to the graduate and professional schools of their choice. That's number 2. Number 3, they are more likely to pursue STEM and medical degree programs. Number 3. And number 4, they have higher lifetime earnings than their traditionally white institution or white college and university black peers. And that data is not obscure. It's not my data. It mainly comes from Williams-Briggs and economists, but there are many, many others who talk about that. And I share those data because it's concrete evidence that sending your child to an HBCU will advantage them not only in terms, I remember telling this to someone, I said, well, you know, black college graduates graduate college with higher GPAs than their peers at TWIs. And they said, well, you know, maybe the curriculum isn't as rigorous. I was like, wow, okay. The internalized racism, the psychological schemata that are concretized when it comes to accepting anything of merit and substance that's consequential about us. I'm not talking about playing basketball, but this that can be consequential, but that's not the consequential I'm talking about. It's so deeply ingrained, even in us. But these are the data. HBCU graduates graduate with higher GPAs. They are more likely to pursue STEM and medical degree programs. They have higher acceptance rates into the graduate and professional schools of their choice, which should be some indicator that their excellent preparation at HBCUs has translatability in other environments. And they have higher lifetime earnings than their TWI black peers. Williams-Briggs, the economist, is one of those scholars, and HBCU, Howard University economist, that kind of closed the book on that. So where do we go from here? I think we aim for more federal funding at HBCU.
A little bit about Black Bay Area culture and history and what it means for our HBCUs. So I'm Dr. Xavier Buck. I am the Executive Director of the Dr. Huey P. Newton Foundation. This is an organization that has been preserving and promoting the legacy of the Black Panther Party since 1995. We're based in Oakland. And through that work, just 3 weeks ago, I became the founder of the Black Panther Party Museum. Now, that's the work I do on my day-to-day, but I do this work because I have a dedication and commitment and love for making Black history permanent in the built environment, in our educational institutions, in every place where we consume information.
It calls for people's community control of modern technology. The Panthers foresaw what would happen to Black communities during the digital divide we're experiencing right now, and had already demanded that Blacks have access, training, and an own stake in the technology that runs our world. The 10-point program was the first document the Panthers created, and it was their political agenda. Unfortunately, many of you guys may know, because the FBI had a formal program called COINTELPRO to discredit, disrupt, and destroy Black leaders. Some were named Martin Luther King Jr., and the Black Panther Party was specifically called out. Because they had this program, the 10-point program was never realized. That's why people come to the Black Panther Party Museum and they always say, why is this so relevant? Because it was never realized. It never happened. They did everything in their might, all the organizing power in the world to make it happen. Set up free medical clinics by themselves. Can you imagine doing that when the average age of a Panther was 19? Can you imagine teenagers testing people for sickle cell
I tell
anemia?
y'all that my space around the corner is a 4-block radius. And I'm gonna give you a little history on where I'm at today and tell you where I come from. When I look up the street down, when I tell y'all that's heaven, 2 blocks up over this way is $8-9 million Victorian homes that my people grew up in. I lived at 1483 McAllister, grew up at 13. Well, I grew up in this house. He's like, man, this is $3 million. It ain't nothing but a flat and 3 bedrooms. I don't even think it's 1,800 square feet. I'm like, wow. So, you don't learn all that, you don't understand all that till you start getting older. And I tell you, let me tell y'all who I am, though. I'm got a gladiator in this work. I'm not playing with y'all. I don't play with black folk. I got kids up in here, when they come see me, let me tell y'all something what I do today. I got 3,000 kids that I work with during the summertime. I got 2 research programs, one at USF and one at City College, that I actually support 30 kids and teach 30 people from the community and teach them how to do research on black folks, because I'm tired of white folks coming in here and telling me about what's going on in my community all the time. I go unapologetic about this, y'all. I tell y'all all the time when my kids come in there and talk to me, I got about 38 kids in college right now that I support in the process of everything. And the reason why I send hundreds of kids to college. Pay for them to get there. I tell everybody today, when people walk in that space and see me, they be like, wow. I say, only my God will, y'all. I'm got a gladiator in this work. I keep telling y'all, I'm not playing with black folks. When black folks come see me, y'all better come for real. Because I'm going to tell you what I did learn in them pool halls and them gambling shacks. I'm going to tell y'all what I did learn. Slow down. I'm going to tell y'all what I Hey, look, I was taught to see you. And I sit at the table with a whole bunch of millionaires and billionaires, and I be like, God damn, I see you. What you want to use me for? But at the same time, I need you too, so I'm going to use you in the process of trying to make sure all these black folks get to where they need to go. So, at the end of the day, I talk a lot of shit and I can do that. You know why? I do the work. I go into a space every day and work with kids that y'all tend to want to leave behind. And I tell them every day, I say, you know what? You can be anything in the world you want to be, and they want to go to college. You know why they want to go to college? Because in my staff, I got 29 people on my staff. You know what they all are? College students. So when my kids come in there, you know what they talk about? They talk about college. I got about 9 kids right now. HBCUs call me all the time. You know what they tell me? They say, HBCU, you don't really give us no money. So y'all got to explain that one to me today. Hey, look, I got them there. We're going to help them. So, hey, look. At the end of the day, I got 4 kids, 2 in the lab. They call me out and tell me, hey, look, I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my kids. I've been there the first year. The second year, that's on you all. Can y'all help them out? I get them in there. So, but let me tell you, it's a lot of talent. It's a lot of, hey, look, my boss, but I ain't done because I got a whole lot to say. I want to thank y'all for coming, but on a serious note, I tell everybody in this space, y'all, and when I tell you who I am, during the pandemic, I built a whole hospital. I tell everybody 3 weeks before the pandemic, this is why I say I'm God's gladiator in this work, because God worked through me. And he come get the right one, though. Tell y'all that right now, he got the right one. So yeah, but anyway, I built a hospital. I never closed during the pandemic. I worked with some doctors. They say, what you gonna do, Jane? I say, Dr. Jane, we're gonna stay open. You know what happened? I got 3,000 seniors that live around my space. You know what that did for them? Saved their lives. We were rolling carts to their door, asking them, do they want to get tested? Long story short, and I know Miss Davis is gonna say it's too late. But at the end, after that, I'm right now, and this is where HBCU come in, I'm actually building a healing center for mental health. I'm trying to build it. I have a space. I got 9 exam rooms in there, 2 big old lobbies, and I'm saying, at the end of the day, who is taking care of us? Right, so I just want to make sure that our folks have somewhere to go, and I would love to have students up in there to be the ones that people come to see. I think is so important in the process of everything else. And I tell everybody, I'm a different animal, y'all, and I ain't playing with black folks. Look, I ain't playing with y'all. Thank y'all.
HBCU is one thing. Right. But if we're really talking about the HBCU experience, that's going to require some back and forth. Yeah. So we want you all to come a semester to Atlanta, then come back and go to work. Yeah. Like an exchange program. Because anybody can have classes anywhere. It's just the premise of what we're really trying to do. But again, Morris Brown College is interested. I would like to continue the conversation about the how and the why. And then let's get this done. And in my viewpoint, the easiest thing that we can already do is focus on that 2-year community college graduate. Get them through 2.5 years, bachelor's degree program, go straight to work. That's my comment.
And so I have had my ideas about the graduate program. I've been thinking it quite a bit, but to your undergrad degree conversation, President James, we should do that as well. And so I think I am a deal junkie. Like, I love hearing what someone needs and finding the resources to get it done. So I think if we do the note-taking, figure out what all the resources are, we will go pound the pavement to find it, to get it done. On everything, the accelerator, the summit, the research program. Like, we should put it all out there. We can't limit ourselves to just one idea in this room. So.
Freedom to fail, right? Like we try it all.
For Black people, listen, I think it is a phenomenal idea of bringing a satellite campus of a historical Black college or university here to San Francisco. I am here to learn, ask a lot of questions, learn as much as I can, so I can go back to my institution to see if this would work for Morris Brown College. More information to come through what we call the Hard Reset.